What's up guys, welcome back to the Utah Airguns channel. Today we are talking about the M4, specifically all the upgrades that are available on it. What we've noticed is you guys are building your impacts with all the Airmarksman parts. So we decided to just make that a package and save you guys some money in the future when you do build out other airguns. So this is the Impact M4 Airmarksman package, and basically like the name says, it comes with everything that we make from Airmarksman already on it at a pretty good discount. So we're going to go over these parts and we're going to talk about the benefits of them and why having it all in one package is going to make it an extremely capable and versatile air rifle. So starting on the back, we have our Airmarksman butt pad and bag rider. This gives you a little bit more adjustment, being able to move your butt pad up and down, side to side, as in like, you can cant it side to side to fit your shoulder pocket a little bit more. A lot of people have, different builds, so having that positioned in a more ergonomic position will make you a lot more consistent. It has the Airmarksman bag rider. This is something that I really like because, when you get your stock impact, there's basically nothing back here. It's very thin and it's kind of hard to have your shoulder and the rest of your body up against the butt pad and then, have just the edge of your bag back here trying to support it and stay steady. So this bag rider is a huge upgrade. So if you're not familiar with what a bag rider is, it's basically exactly what the name says. It is made to give you a lot of surface area to place on your bag. So it's just a very robust rear support. And this will work with obviously bags, but there are mechanical rear rests that a lot of people use in bench rest competitions, and having that extra surface area allows you to have it in an optimal position so you can move the mechanical bag rider up more forward and away from your body so that you're not fighting it, because some of them are kind of a bigger apparatus, if you will. So on top we have our adjustable cheek riser. Your stock one doesn't have any adjustment. This one can actually go lower than the stock one and much higher, obviously. And a nice consistent cheek weld is super important, especially when you're shooting precision, but it's also just going to give you a lot more consistency in basically any kind of shooting that you're doing. So connected to the cheek riser is our backbone, and this does a number of things. It adds a little bit more elevation to your scope mount so you can shoot farther without running your scope turret out of adjustment. It adds a bunch of rigidity to the back part of the M4 or the M3, depending on which one you're running. They did upgrade that a little bit with the M4, so it's not helping a ton on the M4, but if you have an M3, this is a essential upgrade. It's going to make your gun a lot more consistent. We have a couple different lengths. I always opt for the long one because I like to run clip-on thermals and clip-on night vision, so that gives you a nice big chunk of rail section to put anything on there. And you can also mount, IR lasers, lights that are canted off to the side. Attached to that backbone is our rib cage. So this does a few things as well. It has M-LOK, obviously, for rails, so you can add lights and lasers and whatever you want. You can also attach a chronograph like the FX Pocket chronograph. But what it's also doing, it is caging the barrel. You guys know that with the Impact's barrel system, you can influence the barrel pretty easily. So if you're one that likes to kind of drive the gun with the rail, this is perfect for you so you're not accidentally touching your barrel and making a point of impact shift. So you can drive it, you can ride your hand over it for just a lot more stability, and it is going to protect your barrel from any outside influences. On the other side here, we have our power wheel lockout. This is a super simple upgrade that I think is essential, especially if you guys are using your guns for, pest control, if it's going to be riding around in a truck, if your gun is going to be a little bit more abused, which these guns can absolutely take it, but we've all done it. We pulled our gun out of the truck or something and accidentally spun our power wheel or the micro wheel. I've been sitting in my truck next to my son and I look over and he's just tick, 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 and I'm like, oh, nice. A lot of us will take a picture of our tune so we can reset it. It's not the same. So this, once you get your gun tuned to your liking, you put this on, it removes the power wheel and just locks all those settings in so you're not worried about, catching it on your chair or something and ruining your tune. So that is a very affordable but very practical upgrade. For the grip, we have the Airmarksman carbon fiber grip. This does a few things. It obviously has a thumb shelf on either side. Now, why would you want a thumb shelf? In precision rifles, when you're working on your like a super clean trigger pull, when you move your thumb over to in line with the rest of your hand, that is taking a lot of tension off of your tendons in your hand so that you can have a much more clean trigger press that isn't influenced by any tension in your fingers. It's ambidextrous. It puts a shelf on either side. It's carbon fiber, so it's going to save a decent little chunk of weight, and it is also giving you a nice 90-degree grip, and that goes back to tension in the tendons of your hands, so you're not angled forward or backwards. It's just making a much more ergonomic and comfortable position for your hand. So in the trigger, we have the Airmarksman trigger shoe. This gives you a little bit more adjustment with the trigger. You can angle it side to side, up and down, and it gives you a nice big flat face so that you can be very consistent with the pad of your finger, the placement on the trigger. Underneath, inside the Loki rail, we have a fill extender. So one of the things that happens when you put a Loki rail on is you sometimes have to fight your Foster fitting to get it in there. So we made an extender to make it much more easy to fill your gun when you have a Loki rail on there. So on the gauges, we have our gauge covers. These protect the outside of the gauges and just provide a little bit more aesthetic to it. We have different colors, so this kind of completes the murdered out look. On the bottom, we have our Loki rail. This has a few functions as well. It adds full-length Arca. It has 2 sections of M-LOK on the side. It also has 2 QD cups for sling swivels. It also has M-LOK on the bottom as well, so if you don't have an Arca bipod, you can attach a M-LOK pick rail on there to run a pick connected bipod. And on the Loki rail, we have our soft touch Arca pad. So this is for when you're out shooting starlings or whatever, and you want to rest it on the window of your truck or a fence panel or anything. It's going to be quiet, it's not going to slip, and it's also going to protect your nice Loki rail from getting all scuffed up. Speaking of the soft touch Arca pad, we kind of thought of it because one day when we were filming, I was filming with Justin's super nice, kind of rare Noveski rifle, shooting off of a railing, and you know, I wasn't paying attention. We got back later, and Justin came and set this down, and he's like, "What's this?" Obviously a very scratched up, nice Noveski Cerakoted rail. And I was like, "Oh, my bad." So that is kind of how the Arca soft touch Arca pad was born, because if this had an Arca rail on it, we wouldn't be having this talk, would we, Justin? So super happy to still have a job here. On the end, we have worked with Impulse Air to include an Impulse 1350. These moderators are super solid, very simple, very reliable, and very quiet. So that is the Airmarksman Edition Impact M4. They are live on the site. You can just find them where you find the rest of the impacts. Again, you'll save a little money when you pick this package up. You're getting, in my opinion, the most capable air rifle on the market today. You're getting the modularity, the power, the precision of the M4, and then you just get a lot of our upgrades. These guns are super awesome. Again, you save a little bit of money, but that is the Airmarksman Impact M4. Let us know if you guys have any questions in the comments, and don't forget to share the video and subscribe.